Hi!
I'm Jacob.
I'm Justin.
And this is Grindr Tales. Wow, here we are. It's a Monday evening. We've got 2 glasses of wine right here. And let's talk about fucking Grindr.
Fucking Grindr. I swear to God.
Welcome to Grindr Tales. Like I said, I'm Jacob. You may know me as the friendly neighborhood host from Out in the Woods. This is my friend Justin. He's a little bit of a power lifter, kind of fat, kind of fit. Dom Top Daddy. That's his name on Grindr. JK. I think his name on Grindr is literally just Justin, right? It is literally just Justin. All right. And my name on Grindr is also just Jacob, but I was a little more clever. It's JCUB because, get it. We're gays and we have labels.
Well, don't kid yourself, bitch, because Josh had to explain it to me because I'm a little dumb.
Oh, actually, okay, yeah, I remember getting that text that said, "Oh, I just realized what your name is." We're here to spill the tea, really, about Grindr. We're not going to say where we're from, but just know that the Grindr scene here is a
mess.
It's a mess. It's very interesting. We live in what could be considered a major city just because of where we are, but it's not really.
And I'll say this, that Grindr is definitely more interesting as a married person who is sexually open with their partner. It brings a whole lot of weird to it. And I love it.
Y'all get a shit ton of attention.
We really do, and most of it's unwarranted. Sorry, not unwarranted, unsolicited.
Unsolicited, yeah. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the name of the game, and I kind of think that's why this podcast exists. It's all for the lack of solicitation that all of us queers go through when we decide to download the
black hole that is known as Grindr.
Yes, correct. So, let's jump right into it. So, Justin, when did you first learn about Grindr, and what was your story of the first time you ever downloaded Grindr? What was that like for you?
So the first time I downloaded Grindr, I was 18 or 19, and just of course being the new fresh meat on the market, barely legal, you really would expect nothing less than classless, tasteless dick pics. It's actually where I met my very first long-term boyfriend, and then about a year and a half, almost 2 years later, met my long-term abuser. We love a good trauma story.
Yes.
It's great for the views.
Yes.
So being newly gay, not newly gay, but new to the Grindr scene, it was very intriguing. The amount of attention that I would get, and now even more so as I describe myself, a medium-sized muscle bear, married to basically a beautiful combination of twink, otter, and a little bit of cub with the tummy, and I love it.
He is made in a lab, and then they sprinkled in some ginger in there to really put it all together.
Oh yeah, but my first actual Grindr experience, it was unique to say the least. It's a little bit foggy, thanks to the drugs. All gay youths do it, but we don't condone it. Dude hit me up one night. It was 11 o'clock at night. My parents are asleep, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, laying in bed, kind of horny, the usual." So he's like, "Well, do you want to have some fun?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? No big deal." So he's like, are you mobile? And I said, "No, I don't have." I said, "I have a car, but it's really loud. It would wake my parents up," and sneaking out his key. So I climb out of my window. He picks me up down the street from my house, looking like a hooker, because I was standing on a corner, and so he takes me to one of the local parks, and where he proceeds to breed me like a whore, on a park bench, a cement park bench. And due to low standards, there was no blanket. And this continued to happen for like 6 months. Yeah, it was terrible.
Baby, first and foremost, you have told me about your issues with your back. Please tell me that you were at least breeding please tell me y'all were at least doing doggy on this concrete bench, because if you were getting your shit scratched up on this concrete bench when you have literal metal in your spine.
Well, of course I was doing it doggy. I didn't want to look him in the face and realize my shame.
True.
I mean, who wants to look their shame in the face? Me, yes. Every day in the mirror.
Legitimately. But that's why you wear makeup.
This is so true. Full coverage, shame proof.
Literally. That's e.l.f. Cosmetics, baby. That's e.l.f. Cosmetics.
Facts.
Interesting. So, I really don't remember my first Grindr experience. I remember knowing about Grindr for quite some time. Of course, it wasn't until I got to college that I knew what Grindr was.
Well, at least you went to college.
Correct. I got a theater degree, so did I really go to college? Anyway, I was not out until I got to college, and then even though I was out to all my friends, I wasn't out to my family. Do you know about Apple family sharing?
Yes, but luckily it was not a thing in my household.
It was definitely a thing in my household, so I was always deathly afraid to download the Grindr. So instead, I would use alternatives like Plenty of Fish, which, here's the thing, Justin, I want to go ahead and let you know, we're going to do a whole episode on Grindr alternatives, but for now, just know that I use Plenty of Fish and Craigslist.
I've done some Craigslist, not proud of it, but I've done it.
Not proud. I never got anything, because here's the key part, audience. I used to be morbidly obese. I used to be 376 pounds. So, I'm no longer morbidly obese. I am now just overweight. I'm normal, just like everybody else. Yeah, so I didn't really get the best of attention. It was normally, which it has persisted, lots of creepy old men.
Oh, gotta love them.
Yes,
gotta love
lots
them.
of DL dudes. And I think actually one time, this really hot military guy, hit me up. This was this is the first Grindr experience that I remember. He hit me up. He came to my apartment. And he was like, I'm parked outside, just walk up to my car and I'll meet you. And I remember walking up to this guy's car, and when he saw me, he drove away.
No! Emotional damage!
He drove the fuck, and his windows were tinted too. So I just I could see I could see his eyes, there was a slit where he had the window rolled down. I walked up, said, hey, window goes up, and he just drives away. Yeah, he got the fuck out of there. He was not whale hunting that day, okay? Which, by the way, just so we all know, audience, me and Justin are here to talk shit, and we're here to tell very scary fairy tales about Grindr. But we are not here to body shame.
Absolutely not.
That is not cool. That is not cute. There's too much of that going on in the gay community. We're not here to kink shame either, but we will make fun of some kinks. Later in this episode, actually. But yeah, so that's what we're about. So now that you know about our first inkling of what Grindr was, yeah, Justin, why don't you regale the audience with our first ever Grindr tale? I want to know. We all want to know.
Oh man, so of course it starts off with a blank profile. Well, he hits me up, just side profile of his gigantic dick, which, not opposed to it, but the first actual message I get from this guy that has words to it is, I see a lot of pussy to pound, drooly face, and looking to the side with a devil emoji. First and foremost, if you know me, I cannot stand it when my hole is called a pussy. I just that doesn't really do it for me, and now I'm soft. So I followed up with, because I'm feeling petty and hateful, it's late at night, 10:54 to be precise. I said, your dick looks more like it'd be pleasurable as a dildo. Sorry. I said, the only stroke gain you look like is the actual length of your dick. Well, because obviously I'd had a long day and I was not putting up with anyone's shit.
I've got to refill my wine on that one anyway.
He said, I know what I'm doing. There's no need for confliction. You'll end up in a three-way relationship, bro. Real shit. Side-eye emoji. I said, the only conflict here is the unwarranted dick pic, and I'm good on three-way relationships, just good threesomes in bed. But I'm glad that you properly use a 6th grade level word. I'm just going to make it known, audience. When I wake up, I don't choose violence, just mainly because it's like a lavender spritz that I put on my pillow before I go to sleep at night. So I'm always up for the bullshit.
I need to try that.
So he's like, LOL, you funny. Come meet me, bro. I said, that's what I'm trying to avoid here, buddy. So he's like, meeting me? I was like, are you seriously this dense? Wait, don't answer that. That's a rhetorical question. I don't want to meet you. I'm not interested, and you should have caught that in the initial first messages. And next time you should start with, hey, how are you? Like, unsolicited dick pics, sometimes they're great, sometimes it leads to a meetup, but, I mean, if you're gonna send a first pic, like, make sure it's a face pic, especially if your fucking profile is blank. First and foremost.
Right, and once again, I think we can do a whole episode on DL guys. First and foremost,
God.
we can do a whole episode. Gotta love them. They're like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. But like, let's take a moment here, readers. Let's take a step back. How do we describe, like, this penis? Like, yes, it is dildo worthy. How big, I mean, how long would you say, like, if you could estimate?
I'd roughly say, like, 8, maybe 8.5 inches. Unfortunately, it does not look that thick.
Yeah, I would say, like, 10 inches. I would say 10. Yeah. I think it looks pretty big. The only thing is, like, the lighting really wasn't doing him any... Well, it wasn't, like, the thing was, it wasn't bad. It just looks slick, which makes it look even more like a dildo. Like, it makes it look even more plasticine. You know what I mean?
My thing is if you're gonna send a dick pic, like, I have received numerous dick pics that are tasteful. Like, where, like, dude, if you're gonna send a nude picture, make sure it's tasteful. Put a pose. Get some lighting, not your fucking rusty bathroom light. No one likes yellow overcast anything.
Correct. Except for moths.
Except for moths.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Especially, like, what you're gonna find here, folks, is that, you know, a lot of these Grindr tales, like, the moral of the story is take a hint. Take a hint.
Take a fucking hint.
Yeah, no,
sometimes I wish they took hints better than I took dick, and I do that pretty well.
He does do that very well. I've heard many tales. But, like, also, you're gonna end up in a three-way relationship. Like, first of all, how thoroughly modern. At least he can acknowledge, like, polyamory.
Yeah.
Shout out to polyamory is valid.
But that was very presumptuous.
Very presumptuous. Very presumptuous.
And if he's listening, I know he's not gonna know what that word means, because it's okay. We don't all read at a 12th grade level.
We don't. But that's the thing. Very, the audacity. That's all there is to it. The audacity of some of these men. For my Grindr tale, tale, it's simple. It's very simple. It's short and sweet. It's a screenshot of a profile that I saw. This person did not hit me up, and I'm frankly glad that they didn't.
Yeah.
Because here's where we're going to get into the portion of the episode where like, you think I'm kink shaming. I promise I'm not. However, this just is what it is. Okay. So the profile was older folks. He was
respectable.
He's 23 years old. He uses the tags chub, college, daddy, mask, muscle. And that's the thing about Grindr. You know, you have these tags, and sometimes they're a little contradictory. You're like, what does this mean? Are you the chub, or are you the muscle? Are you into chubs, or are you into muscle? You know, like, are you in college, or are you into, like, dudes that are in college?
Right, the tags are, like, questions.
Yeah, it's like, where are we going here? So, like, normally you expect that the descriptors, or the bio on the profile is going to tell you everything you need to know.
Negative.
Well, this one didn't answer any of my questions. It just gave me more. So let me read it to you. Any athletes out here? Football players or basketball? Y'all, HMU, let's chill. I got a fart fetish as well.
Oh my god.
Share yo fetish. I want to get farted on till that booty shits.
That's unique. Once again, audience, not kink shaming. We're just laughing hysterically. Me mainly at the fact that he presumes to wants to get shit on. To each their own, but mainly at the grammatic errors. Yo, being main.
So here's the thing, like, he did not use punctuation at the end of that. So, you know, he said, I want to get farted on till that booty shits, but he didn't put any,
He showed no enthusiasm.
Well, no, it's not even the enthusiasm. I know why he didn't put punctuation. It was open-ended. It was open-ended because he wanted you to follow up. He is waiting for someone to message him and be like, at last, I have found the one. I've been looking for someone to shit on my whole life.
Well, good news, as a gay man in the South, we do it all the time. We get shit on.
I mean, the thing is, like, would he be dissatisfied if someone really, like, I mean, because we've all had it. Like, sometimes you trust the fart, and you really, you shouldn't.
You trusted it like your ex.
But when it really counts, sometimes you sit down on that toilet and you think you're about to make a big stinky poop, and it's just gas. How disappointed would he be if you just farted all over him and nothing came out?
You know, that's a really good question.
Would he not call you back after that? Would he be like, I'm
would
he
block you on the way out?
Right,
the door?
would he block you on the way out the door because you could not deliver?
The countless times I've done that to men, blocking them on the way out the door.
It's a classic tactic, and it is a very effective one.
It is, until he messages your friend while you're sitting next to each other, and you're like, do you want to play tonight? Are y'all into a foursome? And you're like, don't message, don't message, don't message.
Don't do it, please. And also, like, here's the thing that I wonder. Okay, so, you know, some people have fart fetishes. Cool. Here's my question. And look, we have an email address, okay? If you have an answer to this,
please let us know.
Please let us know. Please send us an email at grindrtales@gmail.com. If you have a fart fetish, have you truly been farted on, or do you just like the smell of your own farts? Is it the power play of someone forcing you to smell their farts? And furthermore, at older folks, have you ever actually had another human, like, defecate on you? Because if you have, sir, was it truly a pleasant experience for you? Was it? I mean, like, the thing is, I once again, look, I'm gonna say it again for our lawyers. We are not kink shaming here. But the thing is, like, feces is very unsanitary. That is the quickest way to get pink eye, E. coli, beaver fever, dysentery, Montezuma's revenge. You know, so like, here's the thing. I mean, all sex, you know, you run the risk of disease, but baby, like,
direct contact
with poo-poo.
Well, what if the dude douches before and it's just water?
I still think there's bacteria.
Oh, absolutely.
There's still bacteria.
I mean, you could pull American Horror Story Season 3 and make you douche with bleach, but, you know, you'll end up in the ER.
If you made it that far.
If you make it that far. No, so recently, me and my husband both have had a very interesting hookup.
Speaking of horror stories.
So, guy hits us up, you know, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. This dude looks like Buffalo fucking Bill. If you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, please go watch it after the show.
Pause. Go watch Silence of the Lambs.
And then resume. I walk, you know, he hits me up, you know, no big deal. You know, decently looking, looks like Buffalo Bill in a black and white photo. And, you know, it's all good, though. You know, so a couple nights ago, me and my husband were like, you know what, we're horny, we want to fuck around with a third. I wanted to bottom, because I'm the truest definition of versatile. And, you know, I do enjoy multiple dicks at one time. You know, one is good, but two is great.
Three is company.
Nothing quite like having a mixed baby 3 weeks later. So, I'm so sorry. Oh, me bottoming is like a game of life. You just take a spin. You don't know what it's going to happen. But so the other night we get to his apartment, and if you haven't seen the movie, Buffalo Bill has a Pomeranian, and it is just a wild ride of a character. So we get to his apartment, and the first thing he does is open the door naturally, and we're like, hey, how are you? When I see him holding the fucking Pomeranian, I immediately start playing Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus in my head, and just envisioning him in a shawl just dancing naked in the wind, in the mirror with his, dick tucked between his legs and putting on red lipstick, just going, would you fuck me? I'd fuck me hard. And so, we get down to business, and, the dog, oh my god, the dog would not stop fucking barking. And it's barking from under the bed, it's barking from the living room, it's barking with peanut butter in its mouth. And it's just killing the vibe, really. All things are said and done, the dog is still fucking barking at this point. And I'm just, ready to pick the dog up and be like, I have your dog, mister! He's really hurt! It was definitely an experience. It was... Sometimes, you fantasize about a horror movie villain. This is not the one you want to fantasize about. He's closer than you think.
Correct. I mean, he looks kind of like Buffalo Bill, but he also looks like a Pokemon villain. He totally looks like he would
steal your Pikachu.
He would steal your Pikachu. He would have ancient knowledge that was forbidden that would awaken an ancient Pokemon that would eventually flood the world.
Right. Real Groudon situation.
Yes. What's the bitch from the end of Diamond and Pearl? Who's the one that's really hard to beat the first go round?
Cynthia.
He's like Cynthia, but if Cynthia was an older gay gentleman. He's giving those vibes.
Aside from the whole Buffalo Bill issue, my main issue is if you have company and you have impotency issues, my thing is take something for it. Put on a cock ring. Do what it takes to keep your dick hard so you can actually fuck me. Cause not gonna lie, dude had a big dick. Really did. It was decent. But, oh my god. Walked out the door, was reminded when I got here that I forgot to block him. So what did he do? He messaged me again.
It's still ongoing, folks. And here's the real tea. The Pomeranian was barking from under the bed as a warning. He was like, get out of here! Quick! You gotta go!
He's got lotion!
He's got lotion! There's a pit in this basement!
So what is your Grindr horror story? I just have to know, as fellow whores, just, oh god, give it to me, girl.
So I was visiting a friend about an hour and a half south of here. So last year,
was there a back road?
No. This was in another major city in our state.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
This was in another major city in our state, and my friend lives down there, and I was visiting him. I didn't have money for a hotel that particular week. I used to, look, true story, listeners, I used to, go down to visit my friend in their hometown, or in their town every, other week, and stay in a hotel and whore myself out. Last year, 2021 started great and ended terribly, but that's a whole nother ball game. But I was staying with my friend this time, sleeping on his couch for the weekend, and I still was not gonna let that stop me from getting some strange, So this guy hits me up while I'm waiting for my friend to get off work. I'm at the local coffee shop / record store, just browsing, drinking some coffee, and this one guy hits me up, and on his profile it says he's 29. He's just looking for fun. And the picture on the profile is this great bathroom pic, this jock looking guy.
Yeah. Oh, we love that.
We love it. We love it.
A tasteful bathroom pic where you can't see their toilet.
Absolutely. Where you can, look. Here's some advice from us to you. If you're gonna send a dick pic, please
don't be on the toilet.
Don't be on the toilet while you do it. However, I start messaging him. Great conversation, and then he's like, hey, I live right around the corner, why don't you come over later? And I'm like, sure. So I tell my friend, as I always do, we're playing some Mario Kart, and then I'm and then the guy hits me up and he says, hey, I'm ready whenever you want to come over. And I'm like, okay. So we play one round of Mario Kart, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm gonna go to this guy's house. like, if I don't, like, message you, you know, within 30 minutes, like, call the cops.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. So I go over, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go over and I park, and he says that the door is unlocked.
Oh.
And it's this cute little bungalow house, you know. Okay. It's very nice, very scenic.
Not a trap house. We love it.
Not a trap house, you know. It's like this nice older home, but like it's renovated and everything like that. So the door's unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
I open the door, and as soon as I open the door, it's like when Voldemort is in his baby form before he...
Just crying under King Cross Station's bench.
So I open the door and I hear, "Hey there."
No! Not the gay dude from Family Guy.
Yes.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
So,
So
no.
immediately, you know, you can hear that he is not 29. And I knew it was too late, though.
Admiral Ackbar. It's a trap.
It's a trap! So I didn't stop myself, though. I should have just walked out the door and made him think it was a mistake or something. You know what I mean? Like, maybe
Wrong
someone...
house.
Right, like, I was gonna rob, you know what I mean? Like, but I proceeded anyway, because I'm like, well, the pics were nice. Maybe he's 29 and he just has, like, an old man's voice. So, the next thing I hear is, "I'm back here."
I love the Leslie Jordan, like, My Sordid Life kind of voice.
Yes.
I'm back here.
So like,
Old brother boy voice. I love it.
it's very cinematic. So, you know, the rest of the house is dark, but there's one door that's ajar, and you can see this amber light from the heater just glowing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he's behind that door. And I just...
Didn't turn and run. I'm questioning how you're still here.
I'm still here by the grace of God. If God can lead you to it, He can lead you through it. So, I go in and I open the door, and
from the ASMR for y'all.
Yes, there's that wine pouring ASMR. So from the neck down, this man is a less photoshopped version of the photos that I saw, because I never saw a face pic.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way.
Oh,
but
it's
like,
always a bad way.
In a bad way.
Asked.
And when I tell you, he's sitting there and he's playing around with his pecker.
Gotcha.
And y'all can't see this, but it is the size of my pinky. And once again, here's the thing. Here's another important message to everyone out there. It is not the size of the package. It is the quality of the delivery.
Absolutely.
But he just wanted head. And the glowing light was from his heater, because his house did not have heat, so he had like a little space heater.
I got you.
There was a Brett Favre jersey on the wall.
Red flag number 3.
There was a Brett Favre jersey on the wall. A DJ mixing soundboard.
Red flag number 4. I feel like there's meth somewhere in this story.
And a very ornate carpet on the floor, and a couch. And lots of different Heisman ring replicas.
We love thrift shop chic.
And he told me, that here's the thing, while his worm is in my mouth, you know, he's talking about how his ex-girlfriend had just left him.
Oh God, when they talk too much.
And here's the thing, I'm surprised that it was intelligible because of the 4 teeth that he had.
Gotcha.
That he had left. And, you know, here's the thing, y'all. As much as I was putting because many people out there can attest to this, I give great head.
He does not half-ass shit.
I do not half-ass. And even whenever it is very small, I go in, you know. And, he was actually trying to give me pointers. And he was not rising to the occasion, if you catch my drift.
No.
So, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get this over with. We've all been there. Look, the thing is, if you don't have enough self-respect to say no and leave, at the very least, you know what you're going to do is you're just going to go in there, you're going to do what you got to do to get it over with and get out.
And not get murdered.
But here's the thing, I sized him up, I could take him in a fight. He was frail, but anyway.
It's the meth.
It's the meth. It was whatever. It probably was meth. It probably was. And the thing was, I was going on, and he was just moaning and just making, just like all of these sounds, and I was just...
It sounds like a turtle orgasm.
I was just going and going and going, and finally, I just decided I had had enough. So I had my Apple Watch on at the time, right? And he's old enough, he's not going to know if I'm lying or not about an Apple Watch. So I literally just turn my wrist to make the screen light up, and I go, oh, hey, I'm staying with a friend right now, and they say I need to come home right now because otherwise they're gonna lock me out. So I'm sorry, but like I have to go. And he's like, oh, that's all right. We were getting so close. We were about to have so much fun. But let me tell you something. Next time, I'm tapping that ass.
With what?
With what? And I was like, thank you, sir.
I wish we had a pack of Tic Tacs. There we go.
My God.
No. So my favorite excuse to use is, and there was a stage 5 clinger that we had. I told you about this one.
He still messages me to this day.
Oh God, that's terrifying. Told you, category 6 clinger. So we, afternoon Sunday hookup. You know how it is after brunch. We don't have brunch. So guy messages me, relatively cute, not ugly, not pretty, but he's average. So he messages us, he's like, hey, I really want to fuck with y'all, cool, bet, come over. So he comes over, he parks, he comes inside, we get down to business as usual. And after everything is said and done, and I've noticed this through the whole hookup, is this dude is clinging to my husband like a fucking raccoon in a tsunami. Just dear lifing it. Yeah. And not even. It's like Rose holding onto the door in fucking Titanic.
Yes.
Clinging, full body weight cling. And, so I come, my husband comes, everything's said and done. And the dude just proceeds to pull us into this giant, I would say bear hug, but he was the furthest thing from a bear. And so it was really, really awkward. So I sit back up because once I come and if I don't have any kind of friendship connection or emotional connection to you, I'm just once I come, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you're still here. Toxic gang mentality is didn't you call an Uber? So
we're gonna work on that, Justin. We're gonna work on that because some of these random hookups do deserve better. Okay,
not for me. So. He's clinging to us for dear life, so I sit up, and I'm just like, oh, God, how do I get rid of this guy? Because, he is suffocating my husband. And so I look over at my phone, and earlier in the morning, my mom invited me and my husband over for dinner, right? And we had already declined because I told my mom I wasn't feeling good. I had a stomach ache because this dude was coming over. Should have went to dinner. I promise it would have been more satisfying. So I look at my phone. It's 4:45 or whatever, and I look at my husband, I said, hey, what time did mom say we had to be over there for dinner? I was like, didn't she say 5? And he's looking at me frantic in his eyes. And he's like, yeah, I think it was 5 o'clock. And I was like, well, it takes us about 30 minutes to get there. I said, we cannot be late again. I said, it's 4:45. We have to get dressed. So I was like, dude, you got to go. So Buddy's like, well, give me a minute to breathe. So I just look him dead in the face, cold stone it. And I was like, you can breathe on your way to the car. I wake up and, I've slept with Violence the night before. She's very comfortable. She's a great, great cuddle buddy. So he starts getting dressed, and I was like, okay, you really have to go, dude. And so he walks out the door. I follow him I'm walking to my car because he has no idea what my car looks like, thank God. So I walk to the far parking lot and realize I'm like, oh, no, I forgot my keys. So I walk back into the apartment, lock the door, and block him immediately. Well, my biggest mistake was giving him my phone number.
No.
So I blocked that too. Unlike the guy from the other night, I didn't forget to block this guy. And, it's so crazy because, gays are so, they'll sniff it out in you. They're like, oh, I can see that you're really, really close to these 2 gays that I hooked up with. Do you want to, let me message this guy? And I'm just like... Bruh, incessant. I'm just like, gotta stop it, man. I'll end up in a lawsuit.
No, there have been times, and we will talk about these in the future, where I will be over at you and your husband's house, and I will get messages from guys that are like, oh, hey, you're hanging out with these two, like, what y'all doing? And it's like, we're friends.
We're sitting on the couch.
We're sitting on the couch. We're like watching You Laugh, You Lose compilations
right.
and drinking wine.
Having a Saturday night like normal adults.
But that's also. But here's the thing. Here's the real tea. You know, it's great. I mean, having you and Josh, you know, and also having my roommate and his boyfriend is a great resource, because like, anytime someone hits us up, we can immediately be like, hey, do you know this guy? Like, hey, like, tell me about this. Like, have you, you know,
how
like,
was it?
How was it? You know, and then you
1 out of 10.
Right, exactly. And so you can automatically, you already know how to avoid, because you got to be safe out here with Grindr. You know, once again, future episodes we can talk about like actual like harrowing Grindr horror stories where things went terribly wrong, and you know.
Oh God, I'll allude to the in the next, like in one of the episodes, we'll definitely talk about this story. The guy in the hotel that we went and saw in Pearl.
Yes.
When he was absolutely not what he looked like. Oh my God.
Yes. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That was a horror story.
But like, I'm talking about like actual like murderers and stuff like that. But
oh,
like,
cool, because clearly neither one of us are dead. So
right, we're still here. We're still here. So. But here's the thing. Here we're gonna leave off with one last story, okay? And this one comes from me. So a couple of weeks back, you know, we're talking about blocking dudes, right? And you know, the effectiveness of blocking people on Grindr, because honestly, quickest way to shut down a conversation, quickest way to move on with your life. And here's the thing, audience, if you out there are queer people, because I know we're gonna have some straight folks listening to this too, but if you're queer, you know, here's the thing. Nobody on Grindr owes you anything, and you don't owe anybody on Grindr anything in return.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
unsolicited dick pics are not... I mean, unless that's your thing, unless you get off on it, unless you do a podcast like us where we take unsolicited dick pics and messages that are very quite lewd in nature and just... blast them on the internet.
Correct. But, like, the thing is, like, just because... if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And honestly, it sucks. But, like, if you don't know how to communicate that you're not feeling it, the block button exists for a reason.
It's up in the top right hand of the screen. It looks like a stop sign. Please feel free to use that button, just not on the podcast.
But here's the thing. Sometimes there are ways that people find around the block button.
Oh, God. Oh, tell me about it.
So a couple of weeks ago, this guy hits me up. He's on a blank profile. He says, hi. I say, hey. He says, what you up to? I say, working, because I work at 2 restaurants, so needless to say, I'm at work most of the time. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm normally working. So... you know, I'm like, what are you up to? Nothing. So obviously not
the detail.
In the words of Han Solo, right before he shoots the communication thing, not a great conversation anyway. So I say any face pics, because normally, you know, if the conversation's not great, I'm like, well, what if the conversation isn't great? At least maybe he's good in bed.
Maybe he's a himbo like me, where
right?
He's like not super intelligent, but at least pretty to look at.
Correct. So, you're more than just a pretty face, honey. But anyway.
Right, I have a pretty body, too.
So he sends me the face pic, and I immediately recognize it as this guy that has hit me up before that is not particularly attractive. For me, in particular, you know, the photo dealt psychic damage. I can no longer read tarot cards after seeing that photo. I can no longer see
not
the
a nat
future.
20. He rolled a nat 20.
He did. So, you know, I ignore him. I don't want to go immediately to the block button, but normally if I ignore people, they can get the message. They can catch the hint. And he doesn't, so he keeps messaging me.
Good news, he doesn't play football or baseball.
What you do?
Clearly, because he can't catch anything.
Anyway, so...
at least he's safe in bed, because he clearly, if you can't catch a hint, you can't catch an STD.
Correct. So, you know, he keeps saying, you know, hey, what you doing? Where you at? Facebook? Hello? So I block him. Immediately. Immediately. And I took screenshots before he blocked me. I took screenshots.
Oh, yes, the lovely screenshots.
So what follows is a message. LOL. If you think you're too cute to chat, you're very mistaken.
Oh my god, that dude has messaged me!
I say, excuse me? Are you the guy I just blocked? His response, LOL. My response, I'm sorry I didn't find you attractive. His response, just speaking. I don't find you attractive either. Doesn't mean I don't speak. Get over yourself. You look like you're from Pearl. So here's the thing. So not, once again, not disclosing exactly where we are, but just know, like, Pearl is up and coming. Pearl,
but still questionable at best.
Still questionable. Definitely some meth labs and trailer parks in Pearl, but you know,
when 50 Shades of Grey goes Criminal Minds, yes,
correct.
absolutely.
Pearl is like the Albuquerque of where we live. So he says you look like you're from Pearl, which anyway, I say okay. But it wasn't an engaging conversation. A conversation starter would be, hey, I'm not looking for anything in particular, just saw your profile and thought we could have a chat. You gave me nothing to work with. And don't tell me to get over myself when you literally had a backup profile to come scold me. Jesus Christ. His response, the Pearl comment stands. My response, and I'm from way worse than Pearl, haha. I'm from undisclosed location, but I live in another undisclosed location now.
Our location is that blank profile on Grindr.
Correct. And his response to that was triple whammy, bye skank, and then he blocked me.
No, not the blog.
So
well, at least you got rid of him.
At least I got rid of him permanently, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's gonna hit me up again sometime in the future because he's gonna be desperate and horny enough. I know.
But we don't settle for desperation.
We don't.
That's my thing.
But here's the thing. If the most powerful weapon that you have in your arsenal is you look like you're from Pearl, you have already lost.
Absolutely.
You have already lost. Like, you could come for my appearance.
Right.
You could come for my intelligence. You could do anything, but instead, you say that I look like I'm from Pearl. You could say that I look like I have an extra chromosome. That would hurt more than I look like I'm from Pearl. So anyway, just know that, like, the block button is not foolproof.
Oh, bitch. I've got a riddle for you. I saw this online, and I thought it was fucking hysterical. What is one thing that you can say in the bedroom and also at a funeral?
I don't know.
You look really stiff.
Wow.
Another reason I'm not invited to family funerals.
Correct. You're invited to my funeral, though. If I die before you, please, because we're gonna be old by then, please hobble up on your walker and be like,
hey guys,
you look real stiff.
No, if you die before me, I'm gonna just pull a full Medina. Get up! This is not it! No, what was it, the Goonies? He needs his glasses!
He needs some milk. Somebody! On that note, we're gonna close the first chapter of Grindr Tales. How do you feel, Justin? How do you feel? Oh my
god, this has been so great. Like, this was so much fun. You know, I know we're friends and we hang out quite a bit, you know, aside from the fact that you have 2 fucking jobs and no spare time. You know, this was a really, really good moment for, you know, just us to hang out and chill and, you know, laugh and joke up and cut up. It was, you know, for me, work was really, really bad. You know, it wasn't the best day, so this was definitely like the cherry on top and like a great way to end the day.
And there we go. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of podcasting. It can always be the cherry on top. It can always be.
Unless the top has a cherry.
Unless the top has a cherry or a bouquet of cherries.
We don't like bouquet of roses.
We do not like a bouquet of roses. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Grindr Tales, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in to Grindr Tales, hosted by Jacob and Justin. Original theme song by Jacob. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, go ahead and rate, review, and subscribe. We promise not to be as pushy as some of the dudes in our inbox. If you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell, like the video, and leave a comment. Even if it is nasty, oh, we're used to it by now. Share Grindr Tales with everyone you know, but your mom. Unless she's cool. Follow us on Instagram at GrinderTales_podcast, or join the Grindr Tales Facebook group to share your own dating app blunders. If you have a question, want to be on the show, or just want to tell us how much you love us, send an email with your name and preferred pronouns to grindertales@gmail.com. Unsolicited nudes are not a requirement or a preference, but if you're feeling frisky, shoot your shot. See you next time, only on Grindr Tales.